Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome to On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date with everything going on here at On Deck, and of course with the Atlanta Braves. Some sad news out of Braves country a couple days ago. If you're watching the game, you saw it like I did. Travis d'Arnaud, of course, went down with a thumb sprain. It has since been revealed that he will need surgery and did go on to the 60-day injured list. So, as upsetting as the start of this season has really been for Braves fans, with plenty of injuries so far already, none of them quite as just a finishing blow as the Travis d'Arnaud one seemed to be for most fans. And, of course, again, he's going to require surgery. He is on the 60-day IL. That means the earliest he can return is some point in July, even though it could be much longer after that. We really don't have a timetable on Travis d'Arnaud. There has been talk among fans about a possible Tyler Flowers phone call from Alex Anthopoulos, though I don't think that's the route the Braves are going to take. And that's just because I know how loaded the Braves are at the catching position. I've been telling you this. This is not a secret. It may seem like, considering Atlanta started with Alex Jackson as the backup catcher on opening day, it may seem like they're not loaded there. I promise you there are. Because, you know, look, you'd be forgiven if you weren't too impressed with Jackson at the plate. He was only 1 for 23 this season so far. But he did offer a lot behind the dish. There was a reason he was there over some of these other prospects. He caught Huascar Ynoa on many occasions in the minors. And Ynoa has been off to the best start this season. And guess who was catching behind those games? Alex Jackson. So the question becomes, how much was Alex Jackson a factor in his success? With both d'Arnaud and Jackson out for the time being, I understand the worry, I understand the concern, I share those concerns. It's not like I'm going to act like they're irrelevant. They certainly are relevant. This is a very big deal for the Atlanta Braves. It's not necessarily insane to be worried about this, and the remainder of the season, but I wouldn't lose faith yet. That's because of who William Contreras has the potential to be. He's not there yet. He probably needed a little bit more seasoning before he ever got called up. But William Contreras, by the way, his brother is Wilson Contreras of the Chicago Cubs, has been a long-touted prospect for a very long time. Okay, I saw him a couple years ago in spring training. I knew he had the potential to be something special, and I still think that. You might be asking, though, why would the Braves start the season with Alex Jackson if they got this major prospect of William Contreras ready to go? And if he's supposed to be that great, why not now? As much as I understand that line of thinking, there's a few reasons, and you need to remember a few things here. First, there's an order to this. Jackson was drafted in 2014 and has been under the Braves since 2016. He's had a lot of time in the minors. Plus, he has put in work with guys like Huascar Ynoa and Bryce Wilson throughout his career in the minors. So that time is, one, valuable, more valuable than a lot of people care to admit. And the Braves have given Alex Jackson every opportunity to prove himself and earn a spot on the Major League roster. They are very impressed with him. But I think we all know his bat just hasn't made a great impression among fans and really among the stats for the Braves so far. So could William Contreras be different? I think so. I really do, because Contreras has been the guy to look forward to for a long time. He and Shea Langoliers have sort of shared that title, but we knew William Contreras would probably be first. The obvious family ties and last name does make it an interesting name on paper, but that's not really what I'm here for. There's a lot more to it than just that. The Braves had a lot of competition at catcher at spring training this year. The names here are kind of ridiculous. Travis d'Arnaud, obviously Alex Jackson, William Contreras, Logan Brown, and don't forget about Shea Langoliers. They're not all household names, but Langoliers and Contreras could be one day. The potential of those young stars seem to be unlimited at this point, much like a Christian Pache a couple years ago. With that said, even though the catching core has taken a hit, the catching core for the Braves is still intact. Trust me, the future is still there. But what's special about Contreras? It's really hard to speak on prospects right now because, Christian Pache we knew about, Ian Anderson we knew just how good they could be. Christian Pache is still sort of waiting on that to be unlocked. Ian Anderson we've seen wonderful things out of so far. But with prospects right now, it's really hard to tell because obviously the COVID shutdown last year really obviously shut down the minor leagues, and we don't have a stat. They've been working at the alternative training site for 2 years now. We don't really know. But we can talk about a few things. William Contreras has seen Major League service time. He came up last year at the beginning of the season when both d'Arnaud and Tyler Flowers were possibly exposed to COVID. We were in those times. They came up. They both, Contreras and Jackson, both got the call, and they both suited the need for the time. It was only for about a week, but both picked up their major league hits, their first ones. Contreras, by the way, was a double, and he fit right in. He did not look like a minor leaguer. Through 10 at-bats, he hit 400, and again, he picked up a double. So hopefully a trend like that can continue when given more at-bats. I will add this. He hit yesterday. He was 1 for 3, so that was a really good thing to see. There's more to this, though. The Braves also added veteran Jeff Mathis, and this move did not send the baseball world into a frenzy, and it was never going to. It's probably not a big deal to you, but I encourage you to do your research on him. If you have time, Foolish Baseball did a video on Jeff Mathis, and it's certainly an interesting perspective. I really encourage you to go check it out. The link is right there. So Mathis is, of course, making his way onto the Braves roster now, and even though his career batting average is only 194 at the moment, his value to a team is a lot bigger than that behind the plate. Having him paired with Contreras could be the best thing for Contreras. A friend of mine, Johnny Estrada, once told me that the most important thing for a catcher to develop is behind-the-plate action and to develop offense later. Behind the dish is what's important as a catcher. That's why Alex Jackson ultimately got the nod over Contreras this year. Plus, more time in the minors would have only aided Contreras' development. So that's what the Braves were doing. And the Braves, with any major prospect that we've seen, Ian Anderson, Ronald Acuna at one point, Ozzie Albies, a lot of these guys try to hold out on bringing them up to the majors to ensure that player is ready before sending him up. We all know how Bryce Wilson was sent up and sent back down multiple times, and he eventually found his groove. But you never want a prospect to go back and forth. You never want them to lose confidence in their stuff and waste options. With that said, the scenario is obviously, forcing Atlanta's hand at the moment. They don't really have a choice in this matter. But whether Contreras is successful at the plate or not, it's important to realize that will come later on. This guy's going to be good. What's important right now is how he does behind the plate. That's what I'm concerned about for the time being. Don't expect a d'Arnaud. We're not going to get that level player. But appreciate what is to come for young William Contreras. This is an exciting time for Braves country. You really need to acknowledge that. I do think there is little to lose on him struggling, because frankly, obviously d'Arnaud was a huge loss at the plate, no matter how much he was struggling. But Alex Jackson was really struggling at the plate. Again, 1 for 23 on the season. So what is there really to risk here putting Contreras in this spot? I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, and I think it's going to be fun to watch. And again, I think this could be really good for the Braves' future, because obviously this is a very unfortunate event for Travis d'Arnaud, for the Braves, for this year. But losing d'Arnaud kind of seemed inevitable. And what I mean by that is, with all the injuries the Braves have had, it had to hit the catchers at some point. Whether it hit d'Arnaud for a week or Alex Jackson for a month, you knew the catcher was going to get hurt at some point. A catcher was going to get hurt, and someone would have to get the call. That's what William Contreras is here for. It's obviously a huge loss, but it could be one Braves fans have to get used to. What I mean by that is, with all the prospects at catching right now, limited finances, and the fact that d'Arnaud's contract ends at the end of this season, it could mean that the Braves don't pick him up in free agency. That is something I thought could happen for some time now. I've been sort of looking at it, and depending on where Contreras was in his development would kind of tell you what I thought about it. But Contreras now getting that opportunity, not to say he could push d'Arnaud out the door, but he could show that, he's here to stay and he's ready to go. And that'll give the Braves a clear indication of where they're at in the offseason. So if Contreras proves to be ready, they may lean on the edge of the future. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's really early to tell. But if he's ready, they just may do it. They may, trade Alex Jackson. It could influence a decision at some point, is basically what I'm saying. They already made it clear that Christian Pache belongs in center field over Ender Inciarte, longtime center fielder. That tells you where I'm at with this. So could this injury to Travis help the Braves make that decision? I don't know. Take a look at these stats real quick between Contreras and Jackson. Now, this is 2021 spring training. Contreras, of course, is on your left, Jackson on the right. Obviously, there is better stats on the left, okay? And look, this is just spring training. Jackson did hit 2 homers. Contreras only hit 1 with about 10 less plate appearances. But look at the batting average, okay? He had more hits and less at-bats. So take it with a grain of salt. It's very limited. It's all we really can judge this by. But I do think it's pretty interesting to see these two guys side by side. With that, guys, we are going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I do appreciate it. Look forward to William Contreras' future. I know I do. Go check out LorandGloves.com. They're back there, I promise. Go check them out. They are the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to buying a baseball glove. And again, Father's Day, right around the corner. So go get your dad a glove, and go get me a glove if while you're at it. But with that, guys, we are going to tune out. Do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date with everything going on here and on deck, and of course, the Atlanta Braves.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.